you'll buy less of the investments because the prices are higher. It's, again, a nice, unemotional, systematic approach to investing. We think here at Elliott Wealth Management that in lots of situations that is going to be a worthwhile way to work our way out of this mess is using dollar cost averaging where it makes sense. One thing I didn't say at the beginning of this presentation that bears note is that this presentation is meant to be big picture. I see there's lots and lots of people that have joined the webinar, and again, thank you for that. But I'm not in a position today to give individual advice because we have some people that are young, we have older individuals, some of who are retired, we have some people that have more wealth than others, and so every situation is different. The purpose of this discussion is to be kind of broad and conceptual. Later in the presentation, I have my phone number and email. If you're not a client, please reach out and we could talk about your situation and how we might help. Similarly, if you're a client and there are aspects of this you want to discuss, please, please, please reach out to us. Email us, call us. We are here to help. We're fully available to be a resource for you, as we always try and be. So that's dollar cost averaging. No one likes losses, but from a tax standpoint, they can be helpful. And this year, where we had this big sell-off, there are some tax swap strategies that we want to utilize for clients. So a tax swap is a strategy that involves selling an investment that has losses and then replacing it with a similar but not identical investment. There's some specific IRS rules on this front, but sell something at a loss and replacing it with something else. The tax loss can then be used to offset gains. So if you have a loss from one investment that's sold and you have a gain in another investment that is sold, they can offset, and we could work to mitigate and manage tax liability. What's particularly attractive is that tax losses can be banked to offset future gains. It's something called carry forward losses. So if you have losses but you don't have gains that can be used to offset them, it's not a use it or lose it situation. They can be banked and they could be carried forward into future years so that you could use the tax loss in 2021 or 2022 that you carry forward to be used to offset future gains. That's something that we want to review with our clients and whenever possible, take advantage of that, often working in concert and coordination with our clients' tax professionals. Now, there's some rules to understand with this. There's something called the wash sale rule. So this is a strategy that depends a lot on the particular details, but we're very familiar with it. We use it a lot, and given the sell-off, we expect that it'll be something that we're going to be able to take advantage of quite a bit as the year unfolds. One of the aspects of the CARES Act that I didn't mention a few slides ago is that the government suspended RMDs, required minimum distributions, for 2020. So if you otherwise are required to take money out of IRAs, 401ks, and retirement accounts, they've been suspended for 2020. You're under no obligation to take the money out. You can if you want to, and it'll be taxable, but you can leave the money in the retirement account if you prefer. This is not something that you'll have to do next year. This is something that's wiped away. You simply don't have to do it for 2020. Likely you'll have to go back to the normal rules in 2021, but some investors may not want to take the money out of the retirement account. A lot of our clients only take their required minimum distributions because they're required. Left to their own devices, they would not take money out of the retirement account. So if you're comfortable with suspending distributions and looking for a better time to take them, like perhaps next year, you should take advantage of the suspension of the RMDs. If you are listening to this and you've already taken your RMD, there are ways to put it back in and undo the distribution that might have taken place in the early part of 2020. If you're in that situation, let us know. We can help. Roth conversions. So traditional retirement accounts are pre-tax. The money in there has not been taxed, and it's typically going to be taxed when the money is taken out. Roth IRAs, or Roth accounts, I should say, it's the opposite. It's after-tax money that gets put into the Roth, but then it's typically going to come out tax-free. You can convert money from traditional to Roth, and this can be complicated, but there are some really key reasons why you might want to consider Roth IRA conversions. One element of this is that in the future, tax brackets may rise. So if you're in a lower tax bracket this year, either because of where tax rates are or because your income is going to be lower this year, that lends itself to strongly considering doing a Roth IRA. If account values are down, which they are in many, many instances, you might want to consider converting to a Roth. Now, you will pay taxes on the conversion because when you go from traditional to Roth, you do pass through the tax toll. But if values are suppressed and you do the conversion and then they stop being suppressed and then they recover, they'll be recovering in the Roth IRA, which you will not pay taxes on during the recovery, and also you'd be able to take the money out in the future tax-free. That's pretty attractive. The third element of this I wanted to mention is that the Secure Act was passed in late 2019, December 20th to be exact, and it created a number of changes in the retirement planning landscape. But one of the things that I wanted to mention, because it relates to the Roth conversion thought process, is under the old rules prior to December 31st, 2019, if you're the beneficiary of an IRA, a non-spouse beneficiary of an IRA or a 401k, you had choices available to you that have now gone away. As of January 1st, 2020, if you're a non-spouse beneficiary and you inherit the money, you have to take the money out in 10 years. So we have the opportunity to do some family tax management for our clients. We had a situation where we had an older client, I think he was in his late 80s, and he had an IRA, and he was in a low income tax bracket. And in consultation with him and his family, it came to our attention that his two children, who were the beneficiaries, were in high income tax brackets. They were high earners, and one of the two of them was actually in a very high income tax state. And from the planning perspective, our recommendation was for the older individual, our client, to take money out of the IRA and either take it out or convert it to a Roth IRA, because he was able to do that at a lower tax bracket than we would expect his two children to have if they inherited the money when he passed away, which is what we were planning for. Not that we were planning for his passing away, but planning for them to inherit the money that he didn't use. So that's an example of kind of tax arbitrage. Hopefully I made that clear. But that's one thing we want to look at for clients is, can we take advantage of some tax aspects of this and do Roth conversions? Sometimes they'll make sense, not always. Every situation is different, but we could help you with this. The new federal tax filing date is now July 15th. Now I'm recording this on April 23rd, so you may already know this, but you don't have to file your taxes until July 15th. That's for everyone. And there's other deadlines that have been extended to, like the deadline for IRAs have been pushed back to July 15th from April 15th. HSA, health savings account contributions, have also gotten extended to July 15th. So those are helpful things. Volatility can be scary. As we begin to wrap up, I just want to touch on this. Volatility is scary. I said earlier that we want to be prepared, not scared. But the reality is this has been a very, very difficult environment. I know personally for me, I've been in the business. Next month will be my 28th anniversary in the financial services industry, working as a financial advisor. This last 6 to 8 weeks has been the worst, most difficult, most stressful period of my entire career. And I was at my desk on 9/11. That morning of attacks, I was literally at my desk, and I worked with clients in the aftermath of 9/11. I worked all through the financial crisis. Both of those were difficult times, but this is worse. I think the healthcare part of things, the shutdown, the isolation, it's made it more difficult. On top of that, we have family members that we're worried about, and it's just been an unbelievably bad situation. But I think that the prescription for us is to proceed with caution, to try and rise above the scariness and to adjust to the volatility. I think we could proceed with caution. As I said before, I'm optimistic long term, but I think caution is what the situation calls for. I am not terribly optimistic in the very short term, which brings me to my next point in terms of the media. And I rarely miss an opportunity to hammer away at the media, who I think misbehaves and does a disservice to the American people on a way too consistent basis. And I think their coverage of the healthcare and the economic shutdown has only exposed, in my opinion, their bad behavior. Panic and bad choices can cause more harm for investors than even the virus or a market downturn. And I would just remind everyone who's listening that the media's job is not to help you make smart financial decisions. It's not their job. That's your job. That's our job to help you with. There are lots of resources that can help you make smart financial decisions, but the media is not a place that you typically want to turn to help you make smart financial decisions. Their job, and I have no problem with this, I mean, they're a business, but their job, we have to recognize, is to get you to watch, to listen, to sign in, to subscribe, to review their website, to listen to them. That's what they're trying to create. They want to create demand for their media output. And I don't think they have done investors and, in general, the American people a great service with their coverage during this pandemic. Now, that's my personal opinion. You may disagree, but I think that the media's behavior is less than what I would desire. I would like to see them do more education and be more helpful in getting good information, balanced information to the American people. So, again, I never miss an opportunity to hammer away at the media. My team here at Elliott Wealth will attest to that. So, just a quick review of some of the key takeaways, and then we could get into some Q&A, is 2019 produced strong returns for equity investors, but extreme volatility has reemerged with this unprecedented and nasty pandemic, and I don't believe we're necessarily out of the woods yet. Maybe on the healthcare side, maybe not, but certainly on the economic side, there are many, many things that need to play out and lots of areas for significant concern. Your health is our first priority. As I mentioned in the quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, we're not doctors, we're not medical professionals, of course, but your health transcends the financial stuff. We are, though, going to focus on your personal goals, and feel free to call and email us with any concerns you have. We are here to help. We want to be a resource. In an effort to be a resource, we want to deliver regular communication. We do the monthly mailing. There's the weekly podcasts. There's the availability for remote meetings. We can't meet you in person right now, but we could do remote meetings. Many of you have already done that with me previously or with Lindy previously. We want to have frequent discussions. We're going to continue, as always, and as intensely as possible, review economic, tax, estate, and investment issues for our clients. So that's what you could expect from us. As I said, your health and well-being is our highest priority. We appreciate the opportunity to assist you with your financial needs. I have been so unbelievably touched over these last couple of weeks as I've spoken with clients and interacted, because all the time They're like, Chris, how are you doing? You okay? This must be a difficult time for you. They ask about my family. They ask about my kids. Many of my clients know that my father has been